Hi, I wish you to have a happier, healthier, and long life. In my first language, Iboan. Guess if you can. What if I told you the real theory of everything, the one physicists are still chasing, was actually discovered 2500 years ago, and you could still learn it today? That is true. There's a centuries old system for how matter is formed. It's older than modern physics, but it's instantly usable. And the good thing is, those ancient, verbally carried over knowledge systems, they are still available today. I've spent years comparing this ancient system with quantum physics, and what I found, I got to tell you, it has changed how I see reality. If you learn it today, I promise you, you will gain the knowledge and the wisdom to understand everything around you, and that is going to change the way you are looking at things and how you see the world. You do not need a physics or science degree to learn it. Anyone can learn it. And I'm going to tell you that today. I will tell you everything you will need to understand this. So watch this alone today in this episode. I'm going to tell you 4 things. First, the history. We'll cover the history of this ancient system. How was it generated? Who found it? And what triggered them to find this answer to address what problem. Second, why this ancient framework still matters. This system, it explains the utmost and unbreakable reality that is valid for all time. It describes how matter rises or forms from fundamental energies. Think of it as a parallel to quantum field and particle behavior. They explain how this mind and matter phenomena works. Third, the modern search. In modern physics, we are still seeking a single equation to explain the universe, from Einstein's relativity to quantum mechanics. Yet something remains missing. But that theory, it was proved and finalized and proved just over 2500 years ago. Not sure whether I could cover everything today, and finally, the bridge between science and inner experience. This ancient scientist, he didn't just theorize. He verified these principles through deep and sharp-minded observation, achieving a clarity that modern instruments are still chasing. And the amazing thing is that you can still experiment and find the validity by yourself. So I welcome you to this channel. I named it Soup for Soul. I named it Soup for Soul because this will enrich your mind. Thanks for joining this mind-provoking exploratory journey to find the magical facets of knowledge. Now, before I jump into the next part, I should probably give you a little introduction about myself. Otherwise, you'd know who the hell is this person, right? I was born and grew up in Sri Lanka. I am now living in Melbourne, Australia. Among my Aussie friends, I am known as Cap. Not the wearing cap, but with the K cap. And my background, just so you know where I'm coming from, I'm a BSc graduate in physical science from University of Sri Jayewardenepura in the capital of Sri Lanka. And then I graduated, got another Bachelor of Science in IT from Curtin University of Technology in Western Australia. Then I worked a bit as an operational engineer. Then I did my Masters in International Business at Monash University. And after that, I pursued a graduate diploma in Business Administration at Australian Catholic University. Then with my interest in philosophy and physics, I attempted to do my PhD, but I had to survive first. So I started working as a business analyst. Just 2 months ago, I finished my contract with the state government of Victoria, where I was working as a senior business analyst. I take this as an opportunity to thank and give my gratitude to my first teacher, Venerable Thitagalle Anandasiri Thero, who once visited Australia, I think in 2015, and let me learn about this ancient deep science. So I always wanted to give something useful to the world. My view is that everyone should be able to think freely, or at least try to adapt to free thinking. Through my attempt here, creating my first video like this, I hope you can understand clearly about who you are, how you are formed in this universe, and understand what is happening around you. By understanding this law of nature and understanding you clearer, so that you can create a better world full of love and kindness, you are the change. Anyway, let's get on with the work. So today is an era based on information and logic. I hope some of you have even heard of the new discovery of floated state of matter with the advancement of Google's new Willow quantum processor. I will talk about a bit about this modern science towards the end of the video if I have time. But what I'm going to talk about today is more advanced and sophisticated. You wouldn't even imagine that this existed or was found 2500 years ago. Now, it could be a little bit complex to understand. That's because some of the technical terminology is from the ancient verbally spoken language called Pali. So here's a story of the history. About 2500 years ago, the world, it just seemed to turn its face toward meaning. Across India, China, Greece, and Judah, thinkers started asking new questions about virtue, duty, freedom, philosophy, just rule. Cities swelled, kingdoms knit themselves together, coinage jingled in markets, iron ran in forges, and long roads created. Persia's Royal Road, the early Silk Road, they stitched distant people into one single conversation. In Greece, Pythagoras was probing right-angle triangles, and in China, you had the 100 schools unfurl, Confucius on human order, Lao Tzu on the effortless way, and in the foothills of the Mount Everest called Himalayas, in Kapilavastu of the Sakyas, today known as Nepal, a child was born into a royal palace. He was named Prince Siddhartha. From this quiet cradle, nobody thought a path would open that would one day renounce palaces and illuminate the human minds. See, back then they realized that humans are never satisfied with any comfort or luxuries, especially those royals have. We always need something better. If not, we are sad, we are suffering. So they wanted to find an answer to the biggest question. How can we humans always be happy? And how do we end the suffering? Now, I have to emphasize this. It is more important to research by yourself about what I'm going to say today. It is more important than just learning about this ancient pure science for 10 years. 1 minute spent on that research is more valuable. Even the time you spend watching this series and the time I spent making it, if right, it shall be directed toward research. And when talking about researchers, everyone's heard about Area 51, right? Does anyone know why they named it 51? It's because it was its official designation on maps created by the Atomic Energy Commission in USA. If you Google, the origin of the name is not known. The question I asked is because I'm going to talk about an important aspect of this 51, a lifespan of smallest unit, smaller than an atom of any material. However, even NASA and Area 51 scientists, both agencies, are researching about this ancient science. I know because they approached my teacher, but they hardly publish any of this because these things, what I'm going to bring you today, is a deep mechanism. It's heavier than quantum physics and it could be quite difficult to comprehend, but don't worry, I will try to explain it to you as simple as I can. Okay, so the great ancient scientist about 2500 years ago, before he realized this wisdom, he was still the Prince Siddhartha. When he quit the royal palace, first he went to famous and popular teachers. He mastered all their teachings, their hidden science, but it wasn't deep enough. He was looking for a mechanism to end suffering. History says he went to about 4 of the most famous teachers, and he finished their courses well early due to his intelligence. But this intellectual handsome prince, he realized that they don't have the answer. Then he went into the forest to find the answer by himself for the most important question that man must find. While at the same time in Greece, they were trying to prove, the relationship between angles of right angle triangle. The Sakya prince wanted to find an answer to a different question. That was the enormous question those days. This noble person who had the courage to leave all that comfort behind the palaces to solve this great problem, even if it meant giving up the velvet of comfort to sleep on a stone slab. That's who went into the forest to find an answer. He deeply practiced and researched some of the meditation methods that existed in the old Vedic Brahman knowledge system at that time. The self-effort he undertook was gigantic, even for today. After he left all schools and teachers, at the beginning of his self-discovery, based on the accepted belief those days, he first experimented by gradually denying food and water for 6 years until his stomach stuck to his back to see if an answer would emerge. During that time, he went into cemeteries. Based on beliefs, he covered himself with human bones to see if something would surface. He practiced extremely difficult fasting methods, even trying to stop breathing by holding his breath. And when his stomach and chest and head felt the pain of 1,000 knives, he courageously held on until he fainted, just experimenting to see if any answer would arise. And he realized that nothing of these methods or techniques doesn't work or give an answer to the question. Then he gave up these horrific beliefs systems and methods. On one full moon night, so quiet in a forest, he sat down beneath a bo tree and indulged in deep thinking. Gradually, awareness bright as dawn, his intelligence and mental faculties started to work fully on. The cause and effect of lives, the mind and matter, the law of nature, the science of everything, the weave of action and result, the links that bind becoming to becoming. He found one builder of this restless, never satisfying dwelling of life and the universe and the world. He saw the occurrence, existence, and deviation of the mind and matter, the causes for dissatisfaction, and that same night he finalized his findings, knew how to lay down that builder's tool, and his mindfulness developed. This South Asian scientist began to comprehend these immense universal mechanisms like they were interconnected links in a chain. This energy so attached and tangled with your life, as also known with modern science, cannot be destroyed. It can only transform from one energy to another. Imagine he discovered this 2500 years ago, and then he tried with tremendous courage to find out who is the engineer behind this and what is the mechanism and how to destroy this energy. Although the Buddha had destroyed all defilement and become a Buddha at the foot of the bo tree, in the 4th week, while residing in a higher house of meditation and contemplating the Abhidhamma treatises, sequentially starting from the Dhammasangani, when the Buddha's knowledge entered the great treatise of Patthana and began to contemplate it, and his knowledge became exceedingly clear as it was able to move freely within that great treatise of infinite methods. As the knowledge became clear, the associated great functional sense sphere mind which is called Kamavachara Mahakiriya Chitta, and the other associated mental factors also became clear. The heart base, which is the support for the clear mind, also became clear. The mind-born matter, Chitta Jarupa, produced by the exceedingly clear mind, also became clear, just like the mind. Due to the contact with the clear mind-born matter, the entire body of the Buddha became clearer. Because he found this, he became the most pragmatic, most intellectual scientist. In Paleo-Sanskrit, a higher level of intelligence is called Buddhi. So the person who has Buddhi is called Buddha in Pali. Because he was the person with the highest intelligence at that era, he was known as Lord Buddha. First he wondered, if he tells this greatest science he discovered to generic human beings, whether they could understand it. But then he decided to give it a try. So let's explore what he found out and your most weighted part. Okay, this is a challenging science. It is describing how materials are formed and the fundamentals of materials. But I will try my best to explain it to you the simplest as I can. Also, there may be instances where I say the same thing twice because I need to do this in a way that everyone can understand. You may also hear a lot of new words in this episode, but I will try to give the definition for every new word at that time I use it. And forgive me if I make a mistake. So, the Buddha, using his mind as an instrument, tries to decode the true nature of the physical objects around us, or rather than decoding it, it's like a process of untangling a tangled knot. So his teachings throughout his lifetime, they've been divided into three parts, or in the Pali canon, it's known as Tripitaka. So the first part is Sutra Pitaka. This is about his special encounters with people in discussions and explaining things. Vinaya Pitaka, this is about the code of conduct or discipline code for someone who wants to become a monk. Abhidhamma Pitaka, and this is the most important part and also the quite complex and deep science. Because of its complexity, most scholars and teachers have avoided it, and so it gets less attention. So, however, this Abhidhamma is the collection of the greatest discovery or the greatest science of all time by Lord Buddha. The Abhidhamma is a very deep science. The phenomena it teaches are extremely subtle. Those phenomena cannot be known with the help of instruments used by modern scientists, not even with electronic microscopes. So they are phenomena that must be known by pure intelligence alone. To be able to understand them well, one must have a pure intellect established. But I will try my best to explain as simple as I can. There are also many who, due to having such wrong ideas, are deceived into thinking they know these ultimate realities. The ultimate realities are subtle and thus difficult to comprehend. Therefore, when hearing those phenomena from teachers or looking them up in books, even those with innate intelligence are often deceived by a rising of wrong ideas. Wrong knowledge is worse than ignorance. Therefore, one must strive to know every matter clearly. To know whether the way one knows a matter is right or wrong, you must read books again and again and indulge in researching yourself. You must also look at how points understood from one book are explained in other books, so they must be compared with each other. You should also inquire about matters from others who know. By doing so, your knowledge regarding every ultimate reality will be purified. There are basic 82 phenomena in this deep science. If you want to study this Abhidhamma, this deep science must, as the foundation of your learning, study those 82 phenomena well, the mind, the 52 mental factors, the 28 forms of matter, and nirvana are the 82 fundamental phenomena of the Abhidhamma. If there is an error in the knowledge of the fundamental phenomena, that error will continue, causing confusion at every point. If one understands this small set of phenomena well, the Abhidhamma Pitaka can be learned easily. Without understanding this small set of phenomena well, even if you study the Abhidhamma Pitaka to completion several times, that person will not gain a pure understanding of the Dhamma. Therefore, students of the Abhidhamma must make a special effort to understand the set of fundamental phenomena well. So, first things first, let's look at ultimate reality and conventional reality. In Pali, it is called Paramatha for ultimate reality. It's the general name given to all of the 82 phenomena mentioned above, which are the fundamental principles of the Abhidhamma. The first thing is a student of this deep science must do is to understand ultimate reality and its characteristics well. That will be the foundation for being able to know the reality of the individual's ultimate realities. Whatever can be felt by the mind, grasped by the mind, or taken by the mind is called artha or attha, which can be defined in English as meaning, thing, or reality. The deep meaning of attha is that which is known by the mind. Since you think everything is felt by the mind, there is nothing anywhere that is not an attha. When it is said that everything felt by the mind is an attha, the question arises, how can the mind be an attha? Would it not be excluded from being attha or meaning? Since one mind can know another mind, the mind is also an attha. To put it another way, that which is expressed by a word and is known by the listener's mind according to the word is called attha. Since one word can also refer to another word, a word is not exempt from being an attha. Since everything is expressed by words, everything in the world is attha. That attha, which is generally one, is divided into categories: conventional reality, which is hinartha, and ultimate reality, which is paramatha. So attha has two parts. When a certain word is heard, even though the thing known to the mind as its meaning appears to be a very large thing, that known thing may be something that does not exist in reality. When the word table is heard, a large object is known to the mind. So if one investigates it further, one can see 4 pieces of wood placed vertically and 4 pieces of wood used to connect them, a few planks laid on top of them, and some nails. Not a single one of those things is the table. All of them together are also not the table. If all of them were the table, then when all of them are tied into a bundle, that bundle of wood should also be a table, right? That does not happen because all of them are not the table. Apart from the pieces of wood, there is no such thing as a table. The thing known to the mind upon hearing the word table is something that is conceived by the mind as existing according to the way those pieces of wood are connected to each other, but which is not actually found. So, most of the words we use when heard, the meanings known to the mind from them are meanings that are not actually found, just like the meaning known from the word table. Investigate the meanings of these words: chair, house, day, month, north, south, ox, person. When some words are heard, although the thing conceived in the listener's mind is very unclear, it can be something that truly exists. The meanings covered by words such as mind, contact, feelings, greed, aversion, delusion, although not appearing as large as a table, are meanings that really exist. Of these two, the meaning that does not exist in reality and the meaning that does exist in reality, the meaning that is found in reality is superior to the meaning that is not found in reality. A bit confusing, but the meaning that is not found in reality is inferior. Therefore, the meaning that is found in reality is called ultimate reality or paramattha. The meaning that is not found in reality is called conventional reality or hinartha. The characteristics of conventional and ultimate realities. The characteristics of conventional realities that is not found in reality. The characteristics of ultimate reality is that it exists in reality. The characteristics of conventional reality is to appear large before investigation and to disappear upon investigation. The characteristics of ultimate reality is to be unseen before investigation and to emerge more and more upon investigation, like mist, which appears from afar as a large thing covering vast area but is not seen as anything upon approaching. Conventional reality disappears upon investigation, like the heat of an iron rod, which is not seen from afar but is strongly felt when touched. Ultimate reality, though unseen before investigation, becomes strongly known to exist upon investigation. So let's look at how to discover ultimate reality. To find out whether a meaning known according to a word heard or seen with the eye is an ultimate reality or conventional reality, you should investigate it by analyzing that thing. When analyzing, it should be able to done keeping the following two rules in mind. One is only one, so one can never become two. Two is only two, so two can never become one. If something can be broken into two, it is possible to do so only because it was initially two. So if something considered as one thing can be broken into 7, 8, 20 or 30 pieces, it is possible to do so only because it was initially 7, 8, 20 or 30. Two objects can come close, stick together and appear as one. However, by sticking together, two do not become one. It is two things stuck together. They can be separated again because even when stuck, the two remain separate. One is always one. That one cannot be made into two in any way. If something that initially appeared as one can be broken or split into two, it should be known that the thing that appeared initially was not a reality that truly exists, but a conventional reality. When analyzing a thing that appears to the mind as one, continue analyzing until you get to a thing that cannot be further analyzed. The final unanalyzable thing that is obtained is a thing that truly exists. So it should be known as the ultimate reality. When a certain word is heard, if the thing known to the mind from it is something that cannot be analyzed in any way, it should be known as an ultimate reality. When words such as chitta, the mind, phassa, the contact, vedana, the feeling, patavi, the earth element, tejo, fire element, are heard, the meanings that are known are unanalyzable. Therefore, they are ultimate realities that truly exist. The meanings known according to words such as table, chair, bed, plate, cup, cloth, tree, stone, ox, person, goat, are analyzable. Therefore, they are conventional realities that do not truly exist. The words sammuti and prajnapti are two words also used to express conventional reality. The word paramatta, when the two words parama atta are combined, it becomes paramatta. Parama is a word that indicates the meaning supreme. In the world, the word supreme and high are used for good objects and good people. However, the supremacy intended by the word parama is not good or bad, but the intensity of either goodness or badness. Therefore, the very best wholesomeness is called parama kusala, the very worst evil is called parama papa, the very best happiness is called parama sukha, and the very worst suffering is called parama dukkha. In all these places, what is meant by the word parama is the intensity of each respective nature. What is called supremacy here is that intensity, the meaning called hinartha, which is not found in reality. It's also a reality that exists in a certain way according to the acceptance of the world, even though it does not exist in reality. In the meaning that is found in reality, there is a greater degree of existence than in those. Therefore, it is superior in terms of existence or being present than the meaning which is not found in reality. Considering that superiority, the phenomena that are found in reality are called paramartha. The supremacy and inferiority spoken of as good and bad are different. When speaking according to that system, the ultimate realities belonging to the wholesome side are supreme phenomena. The ultimate realities belonging to the unwholesomeness side are inferior. These two systems should not be confused. There is no instance found where the term parama is used to mean non-perishing or unchanging. When talking about atta or the meaning, it has two folds. Root meaning called mulartha or mulatta, and transformed meaning called vikurtyartha. The meaning that existed in the beginning is the root meaning. Objects made by changing a root meaning are transformed meanings. Clay is a root meaning. Pots, etc. made from it are transformed meanings. Greed is a root meaning. Weapons, vessels, etc. made from it are transformed meanings. Wood is a root meaning. Chairs, tables, etc. made from wood are transformed meanings. The root meaning is something that truly exists. The transformed meaning is something that does not truly exist, only appears to exist and is empty of essence. When it was said that clay, metal and wood are root meanings, it was said not because they are truly root meanings, but as a simile to explain the two root meanings and transformed meanings. There is a section of subtle root meanings or malatta seen by the Buddha, who by sending his extremely sharp wisdom into the very deep and subtle places in the universe, which is a collection of animate and inanimate objects without leaving any part of the world, sent the hand of wisdom to the deepest and most subtle place, and by gently stroking it, investigated the state of the world in a very subtle way. They are what is called paramartha. They are called paramartha because they truly exist. All animate and inanimate objects have come into being from them. Therefore, they are also root meanings for one who investigates the state of the world. It is they who are found as its essence. Therefore, it is also fitting to call them sarartha, essence realities. The investigation done by Tathagata Buddha refers to the insight meditation called Vipassana. He practiced under the great Bodhi tree to become a supremely enlightened Buddha. At that time, there was no reality that he did not see, that did not come into the grasp of his wisdom. Only he himself and no other knows how many ultimate realities he saw. However, it must be said that there is not a very large number of ultimate realities. According to the amount found in the Abhidhamma books, there are 82 ultimate realities. When speaking of those 82, briefly, there are 4: mind, mental factors, matters, and nirvana. Ultimate realities are not things that are large like trees and rocks and visible to the eye. All ultimate realities are actions called kriya. They are not materials or dravya. For someone who has not understood well the nature of a process, it is difficult to grasp the nature of ultimate realities. If you wishes to know the nature of ultimate realities, let's see a short explanation of the nature of an action or a process. Excuse me. All things in the world can be divided into 3: matter, properties, also called qualities and characteristics, and actions. Amongst everything, whether animate or inanimate, that supports properties such as shapes like roundness, squareness, and dimensions like length, shortness, width, narrowness, etc. are materials. The movement or changing, rising, continuing, and ceasing of materials are actions. Majority of things considered as actions in the world are movements or changing of materials. A material is visible to the eye, and action is not visible to the eye in the same way. It is something to be known by the mind by observing the material and inferring from it. It is something to be figured out by inference or guessing. To think that action is seen is due to ignorance of the status of action. When a vehicle is moving on the road, only the vehicle is seen. The movement cannot be seen. It cannot be captured by the eye. It is not an object for the eye. The moving vehicle is seen at one spot, and in an instant it is not seen there but seen at furthest place. Not being seen there either, it is seen beyond that place. In that way, by seeing the vehicle at different points on the road, the appearance of the vehicle from place to place is construed as the movement of the vehicle is processed by the mind through inference. When a person is walking, the person's body is seen at one spot, then at the next spot, and after that, and so on. Thus, by seeing the person's body at different spots, the action of the person's walking known to the mind by inference. When a hand is raised, the raising hand is seen at one spot, and secondly it is seen to above that, thirdly it is seen to be even higher, fourthly it is seen even higher, fifthly it is even seen higher. Thus, by not being seen in the previous places and being seen at a higher and higher positions, the raising of the hand is known to the mind. What is seen by the eye is only the hand. To say the raising of the hand is seen is true only by worldly convention, but it is not the ultimate truth. Not appearing the place it was earlier and appearing to be higher makes the mind feel the hand is being raised. The eye sees only the hand. The statement raising the hand is seen is only a convention accepted by people. It is not the absolute truth. The action of raising is a certain power called velocity created by hand. What is called the walking of a person is also a velocity that arises due to the person's body. The movement of the vehicle is a certain velocity that arises due to the vehicle. Actions do not have a nature of lasting for a long time. It is the nature of every action to cease to exist as soon as it is finished being done. The action of walking exists as long as one is walking. As soon as the walking is stopped, as soon as it is finished, the action of walking ceases to exist. There is nothing of it that remains for the future. The action of raising a hand exists only as long as one is raising the hand. As soon as the hand reaches the final point of being raised, the action of raising ceases to exist. In this way, it should be known that every action ceases to exist. The world considers actions to exist for hours, days, months, and years by taking chains of actions. Series of actions that appear as one and are linked together, and thinking of them as a single action. In reality, it cannot be said that there is any action that lasts even for a second, let alone a minute or an hour. This should be understood by wisely considering the points presented below. So let's say walking is one action, standing is another action, opposite to it. If someone walks, at that time they are not standing. If someone stands, at that time they are not walking. One person cannot perform those two mutually opposing tasks at the same time. If a person walks a mile in an hour, it is generally considered a single action of walking that lasted an hour and was a mile long. In reality, it is not a single action, but a chain of walking actions, and it is a chain of actions should be understood like that. There is no spot on the mile-long path where the person walking did not stand. While standing, he did not walk. While walking, he did not stand. This is said because one person cannot perform those two actions at the same time. Lifting a foot and moving it forward is walking. So placing the foot on the ground is standing. A person who is walking constantly, lifting one foot and bringing it forward, that is their walking. In order to lift the other foot, they place that foot on the ground, that is their standing. Walking ends with standing. Standing ends with walking. A walker walks by standing at every step without counting all the instances of standing done at every step by a person walking a mile. When the series of separate walking actions performed between those standings are taken together as one, a journey of a mile long, a journey that lasted an hour, it appears. The truth of it is that on the mile-long path, there was a chain of standing actions and a chain of walking actions. If one has to take 1,000 steps to walk a mile, it must be said that there are 1,000 standings and 1,000 walkings in that chain of actions. When considered thus, it will be understood that the duration of one standing and one walking is very short. It must be said that the lifespan of each single action is 1/2000th of an hour. This is not an exact division of the action, but is said only to understand the nature. The truth is that there is no action that lasts even for 100,000th of an hour, let alone 1/2000th of an hour. To understand the nature of action a little further, another matter will be mentioned. Consider the motion of a wheel rolling on the ground. Just as the wheel rests its weight on the ground when it's not rolling, it moves by resting its weight on the ground even as it's moving. On the ground where a wheel has rolled, there is no place where it has not stood. The rolling of the wheel is one action. Resting its weight on the ground is another action, opposite to it. No matter how fast a wheel is rolling, with each revolution, it stands on the ground. When it stands, it does not roll. Since one object cannot perform those two actions at the same time, what is called the motion of the wheel is a chain of actions having standing next to rolling and a rolling next to standing. The common world considers that chain of action as a single action by disregarding all the standings belong to it and taking the series of rolling together. To speak of the matter as it is, it must be said that in the rolling of a wheel for the distance of an inch, many actions of rolling and standing occur one after another. The finite numerical amount cannot be stated. The number of actions should be stated by the number of parts into which an inch can be divided. The wheel rolls from one part of the inch to the part next to it. From there it rolls to the part next to it. From there it rolls to the next part. Since it rolls in this manner, at every part of the inch two actions concerning the wheel occur, rolling and standing. An inch can be divided into parts in many ways. When 200 thin paper are put together, they become about an inch thick. Therefore, if an inch thick divided by the thickness of thin papers, it is divided into 200 parts. On an inch of ground rolling from the thickness of one paper to the part next to it, it is one action. That action ends with the wheel resting its weight on it. Then it rolls into the part next to it. At what time the action of standing ends. Thus, since two actions, rolling and standing, occur at every part, when speaking of an inch divided by the thickness of papers, it must be said that in covering 1 inch, a wheel performs 400 actions, 200 rollings and 200 standings that occur one after the other. The time it takes for the wheel of a fast moving vehicle to travel a distance of 1 inch is not even a second. When calculated by that number, it must be said that within a second, 400 actions concerning the wheel occur one after another. When taken as thus, it must be said that the lifespan of one action is 1/400th of a second. This is also an analogy. The truth is that there is no action that lasts even for 100,000th of a second. The mind, mental factors and matter, which are called ultimate realities, are actions that do not have a lifespan even for about 100,000ths of a second. It should be known that all things considered in the world as known as actions that last a long time are not single actions but chains of actions, series of actions. So the main difficulty, the main obstacle in being able to speak and write about ultimate realities in a way that they can be correctly understood is the poverty of words in language. Ultimate realities which arise intertwined and bound to each other in a way that they cannot be separated in any manner, and which are obscured by the densities of groups and continuities, are not individually grasped by the eyes and minds of ordinary humans. The words in a language are those created by people to express the meanings that have been grasped by their minds. There are no words created to express unknown meanings, since ultimate reality is something unseen by the ordinary person. Words suitable for expressing them are scarce in languages. However, ultimate reality must be expressed with the words that have been created by the world to express non-ultimate realities. However, among those words, individual words that can express a certain ultimate reality correctly, purely, and in a way that the listener fully understands, the meanings are the rare. When expressing an ultimate reality with words that have been created to express non-ultimate realities, deficiencies and excess regarding the intended meaning often occur. When one says coconut to refer to the fruit that grows on a coconut tree, the immature fruit and the young coconut are left out, and only one stage of the fruit that grows on the coconut tree is expressed. Similarly, when an ultimate reality is stated with a certain word, the body of the reality is left out, and only some quality of it is expressed. If one says the animal with horns to indicate an ox, other animals are also included in it. Similarly, when an ultimate reality is stated with a certain word, other meanings besides the intended one are also included. Because of the scarcity of words, when one speaks with the available words, various deficiencies and excesses regarding the meaning arise. Therefore, those who seek this deep ancient science should not take the word as the sole authority, but should repeatedly think and clarify the meaning learned from the word based on reason. Due to this lack of appropriate words, it becomes necessary to use many words to indicate each ultimate reality. In the Dhammasangani volume of this deep science, the single meaning of greed or lobha is expressed with 100 words. Hatred is expressed with 26 words. Delusion or moha is expressed with 24 words. And other ultimate realities are also expressed with many such words. Among the words taken to indicate each phenomenon, some words express a certain stage of the phenomena to be indicated. Some words express a certain quality of it. Some words express a main cause for the arising of that phenomena. Some words express a result that arises from the phenomena. Some words express that phenomena along with another phenomena. The person who is understanding the phenomena, in order to understand it correctly, must carefully examine all those words, consolidate the meaning of all of them, and find the ultimate reality purely. That is not something that can be done so easily, nor is it something that everyone can do, but let's take it slowly and try to understand the best we can. I think it is already a little bit too much to understand. Today, I think I talked about some very basic things before you start indulging in this deep science or Abhidhamma. I hope you enjoyed this, and for many, I'm sure this is something very unique and start of a deep dive into something more complex, but very interesting. If you really want to know about who you are, where you are in this world and the universe, and understand the true law of nature and the truth about yourself. So from the next video, let's find some more deeper facts about mind and matter. Until then, enjoy your time, and if can, please do some more research, and see you in the next video. Thank you.